just recorded Talking Reds, and it was a little bit downbeat, as you're going to see now. And then we came back, and Craig said, "Have you heard the news?" And I was like, "Not more bad stuff." But no, it's the best news possible for Liverpool fans today all around the world. It is time to rejoice. They have brought it out on a brilliant morning when everyone needed a boost. Jürgen Klopp, new contract. It's great.
Incredible news. I love how he timed it. I love the video as well.
Yeah.
Where he's just like talking down the camera and telling us how much he loves being here, how much he loves the city, the people, and that we're going to be seeing loads more of him. And Pep Linders as well, and Peter Crouch as well. That seems.
Well, that's interesting for me because he says we a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He says we've decided to stay. We really enjoy it. He uses that word we a lot, which suggests that he sees it very much as a team now, and he's a team he wants to keep together. And so the fact that they obviously feel the same. They've all committed their time, you know, to Liverpool for the foreseeable future. Is kind of just exciting for me, really.
Yeah, you're right, and it's the first or second paragraph in the club statement as well. It says Jürgen Klopp and Pep Linders and Peter Crouch have all signed up. I like that, the idea of the collective as a team, because we know that they're a massive driving force behind the success that Jürgen Klopp's had at this team.
So Pep, we know you're a big fan of the videos, so well, mate. We know he enjoys them. He goes up to 12 minutes, he told me, and then he gets a bit bored. So we'll keep it short for you. But no, it is brilliant news, and it's great. And to be honest, I thought he was going to go, Craig. I thought, you know, there's the thing where he only ever does 7 years at a place, which is obviously quite a long time. And I know he finds Liverpool intense as a city. Obviously, we love our football, and he lives out in Formby, and I think he finds, you know, the city generally kind of, you know, it's tough for him to go out and stuff like that. And I thought he's just going to want a bit of a break, but it just shows how much he loves the club, how much he loves the supporter base, and how much, you know, he feels like he's got freedom here to kind of do whatever he wants now, that he thinks, you know what, I'm going to put up with it for even longer. I'm going to put up with Gibbo drunk for even longer.
I mean, I've been putting up with that for years, you know what I mean? I think you're right, and I think, like, you know, I think we've mentioned 2022 continually on podcasts, and like, it's close, you know.
I know.
Like, it's really close.
Yeah.
And like, how horrible would that have been, like, to think that we maybe only had those two years? I think it's really interesting as well that Steven Gerrard signs a contract at Rangers until 2024 as well. It's almost as if they've got plans in place here, do you know?
We'll leave the conspiracy theories for another day. Today we're just made up. Yeah. It's great news and brilliant. And Jürgen's committing, the Anfield rapper committing, Craig Hannan signed up.
I tell you what, have you? New contract.
3-year deal.
Do you know what? What a 2 days for the Reds, really. Like, we come home from Salzburg, and I mean, Neil broke the news of you know, the new signing, coming in, and then today I get to break the news that Jürgen Klopp staying around. What a time for the Reds it is.
Yeah, and Watford tomorrow, hopefully beat them and go off to become world champions, very, very much at the top of the league. It is an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. Jürgen Klopp agrees, so should you.
It's Neil Atkinson, it's John Gibbons, it's the Liverpool Gin Distillery. It is not yet 11 a.m.
That's all today.
It is that sort of day, and John, you made the point before, it might be that sort of day when they play against Watford tomorrow, that there'll be some people, certainly overseas, possibly not on the ground, wondering why the ground's quiet. It's fair to say it's a blow.
Yeah, it's tough for the city of Liverpool. If you look at an election map and you look at, you know, if you are sort of, you know, from overseas, or you even just haven't sort of processed it all yet yourself, and you do live in this country, it is worth looking at an election map and the colours now, and you know, obviously we've always sort of been a little bit outnumbered in terms of the geographical spread, but it's even more pronounced. You know, there's little pockets of red, you know, throughout the country, and then the rest is very blue. So suddenly Liverpool feels very isolated. Suddenly Liverpool feels very worried about its future and about the people who live here who are vulnerable and in need of more support than they're currently getting. So it might be a bit down tomorrow. Obviously, 12:30s are sometimes a little bit tough anyway. Yeah, sometimes a little bit flat anyway, but. There's going to be people scared, there's going to be people down, there's going to be people who've worked very hard, including a lot of people involved in the Anfield Rap who've worked very hard on the campaign, doing a lot of travel, going to marginals, you know, who are going to be deflated. And so just sort of bear that in mind tomorrow, really. Obviously, if you are there, and you know, we've all got to try and do our bit because this team deserve it. But if you're watching on telly and you're worried, or you're noticing that things do seem a little bit quieter, I would ask to give a little bit of understanding to some of those people in the ground who will have had it tough to 48 hours.
Indeed, but there's no reason to be unbowed, and there's lots of reasons to be proud, and there's lots of things to look forward to, and there's lots of reasons to be upbeat. And first and foremost, let's remember this: unlike in times gone past, we own some of the means of production, and this is an example of it. Expect to see a little bit more stuff from the Anfield Wrap. John's done something fantastic on race. Gareth on a Thursday in the back kitchen, knocking around in Liverpool 1. Those sorts of causes, those sorts of issues that are Liverpool specific but have universal themes and universal issues. Expect to see us doing more of that sort of thing, because God knows people will need it at this time. We will do the football now though. There was a lot of questions yesterday after talking Reds about whether or not the Minamino sign. I mean, Liverpool are less likely to go for Sancho. I don't think so, John. I think that the long-term Minamino thing, it may well lead to, for instance, Shaqiri leaving in the summer. I don't see it quite being in some sort of cure-all in a first-team sense.
No, not at all. I think, first of all, we're not quite sure how he's going to use Minamino yet, and so, often Jürgen Klopp has looked at a player and went, I like you, but where I'd really like you a bit deeper. And so that's kind of what he's
a right back.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? He might be a right back in Jürgen Klopp's head, and so we don't know yet whether he's going to see him necessarily as a front three player or attacking midfield, or whether he's just got into his head that he'd like to start playing a different formation, because this 4-3-3 he's been playing for a while now. I don't think it's ever been Jürgen Klopp's this is my formation. I think it's been the one that just suited what he had, but I think he'd like to be a bit more versatile than maybe what we're seeing, and so you might see a little bit more of that from Liverpool as well. And I think as well, you've got to have a bit of a contingency that at one point, one of the front three, if not two of them, might go, do you know what, I've had a great time here at Liverpool, but I wouldn't mind doing something else for a bit, and that's fine as well, and that we can't get caught out with that. I think the people that they are, you look at Salah, Mane and Firmino, I think the people they are, they'd never be one to go, it gets to July and you get a big offer and go, do you know what, I want to go. I think there will be, and I think the club's too well run for that sort of thing as well now. I think there will be a case of, if they're going in the summer, we'll pretty much know by March, say, but the way that, if you're talking about £100 million deals, then going the other way, these kind of things do take a lot of time to pull together. So I guess what I'm saying is, for all these deals and all these people that they're looking for, it'll be a case of, well, when is good for us, and we'll do it when kind of suits Liverpool, and we'll do it when kind of suits the players. So if they are in for Sancho, which I believe they are, and if they are strongly looking for him and feel like he is the future, I don't think there's necessarily a rush, and I don't think it's necessarily one where they think, well, it has to be then. Or, if we've got too many players for a season or so, but then that's not necessarily going to be the case in the future, then that's quite an old-fashioned Liverpool way of doing it.
And it is, and it's a good way of doing it. Always be succession planning right the way through the football club. Possibly, speaking of which, Gerrard signed till 2024 as Rangers manager.
Yeah,
he's done well up there.
He has done well. Yeah, he's got through into the Europa League into the knockouts, which is, might seem like, a not particularly big deal, but the Rangers' record in Europe in recent years before Gerrard took over was absolutely appalling, and so the fact that he was put in a group that most people laughed when the draw came on, I went, oh, best of luck with that, and he's come through, and he probably should have gone through as group winners, and I think Steven Gerrard made that point, that he was a bit annoyed that obviously they conceded the late goal, which has been a bit of a feature for them this season. It's also the opposite of Liverpool, really. They've been conceding late goals as we've been scoring them. Because of that, I think there is that sort of the feeling amongst me with Stevie that he should be top, but just to go through is a great achievement. And I think if Liverpool are looking at Gerrard as a potential future manager, whenever that might be, I think it'll be his European form that's kind of
it's going to be the marker, isn't it? More than anything else.
The most eye-catching, yeah, because I say it's tough up there, isn't it? Because there's 32 games in a season you expected to win, and then there's the 4 old firms, and it's a funny sort of thing, really. But I think it's more interesting from him. I understand why Rangers want to keep him because he's doing really well. I think for him, he obviously feels like he's learning and developing there. He's because he's as I say, it's a 2-year extension, isn't it? So contracts, things might change and things like that, and he might get an offer in England, say that appeals to him, and he thinks this is good for me now. But it does show the fact that he feels this is somewhere at the moment that he's learning as a manager, that he's developing, that's putting him in good stead for what he eventually wants to do, which is obviously to manage Liverpool.
Okay, preview of Watford. We're going to talk about it, me and John, in a minute or two. But first, here's a clip from our preview show yesterday.
Actually, for me, I'd take Firmino out, actually. I'd give Firmino a little rest, because I think he's been a little bit off the boil for me. Certainly, he hasn't been scoring many goals. So I'd possibly rotate him a little bit, give Shaqiri or something.
Might get one against these.
Well, see what I mean? It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? You either play someone into form against a really crap team, or you just give them a little bit of a rest and say, don't worry about it. These lads have got this. So, I mean, either way, what are you saying?
I'm saying a few changes, definitely. I think Gomez will come in at centre back. I think he would have done even if Lovren hadn't have gone down injured again. So you're going to have to play him into some form as well. Yeah. He's looked okay the last 2 times off the bench at centre back. Or in fact, he wasn't even on the. He went from right back to centre back at Bournemouth, didn't he? Yeah. I think he'll give Milner a go at left back. I think he'll give Robertson a rest. I think Robertson's one of those who hasn't had an awful lot of it. And he's had an ankle problem in the past month or so. So I think he might give him a go at left back. Milner, midfield. I think he'd take Keita out of the line. I think it'll be just a bit much to ask him three games in a week, especially when he hasn't played for so long. So I think he'll go with maybe an Oxlade-Chamberlain in there and Wijnaldum and Henderson, or even Adam Lallana if he missed the game on Tuesday, but he should be back available, so he might do that. I agree with James about Firmino. I think he'll probably play one of Salah or Mane centre forward, and then put Origi from the left, maybe Shaqiri from the right, or maybe play two of the front three. But I think there'll be a few changes in there definitely. And I know the fact that he didn't use Origi last week, he didn't use him really on Tuesday. I think he'll be primed to play in this game, and I think I'll be backing him for first goal as well.
Back Watford then at the weekend. You're not quite sure what to expect in one sense, John. The bottom of the league for a reason, but there is a flip side there, which is I do think that, for instance, most of the footballers there have played in teams that have been 10th, 11th, 12th, and I think that's why it's a little bit difficult. It's not one I'm complacent about at all. I can see them making it quite awkward for us.
No, there's a new manager bounce, isn't it? Nigel Pearson's come in. You know, we remember sort of what he did for Leicester when they looked dead and buried. I mean, Leicester obviously, you know, it turned out to have quite a good squad because they went on to to win the league the next season. But I think there was, you know, they're obviously hoping that he can do something fairly similar at Watford, and I agree with you. I think there's a nucleus of a decent team there, and that's why I think they've made the change as quickly as they have, because they want to give a manager kind of enough time really to get more out of this team, and they'll be feeling confident that they can get out of it, even though they're not in a great position at the moment. I don't think there's any bad teams in the Premier League this year, to be honest with you. I think everyone's got a little bit about them.
You feel like everyone's got a win in them somewhere. For instance, Norwich may well prove to be the poorest team in the division when we total it up at the end, but they've beaten what was then the reigning champions at home. Yeah,
and they beat Everton and Goodison as well, didn't they? And give us a really good game at Anfield, and so they've got that in them really. So I think for Watford, I think we don't know what we're going to get. We don't know what Pearson's going to do. I don't think he'll do huge amounts of different things because he's only had really the week, hasn't he, to kind of work with them. But, so I think we're going to sort of expect, what to come. But they're going to be up for it. I think they're going to want to prove something to the manager and prove something to each other and themselves, really. So they're going to take some beating on Saturday, we need to be on it.
In the grand scheme of things, do you think the relative strength of the league this season's in Liverpool's interests?
It's not something I've thought about, but I can see what you're saying. I think the idea of more teams giving City a bit of a go, I think is a good thing. I've seen it, mentioned a few times. Oh, look what I've seen a few people say, see, this is what happens when you attack Man City, and I'm like, well, it is easier said than done. Like, first of all, you need the ball, and they tend to have 78% of it, and so like,
let's be clear.
so if every 10 minutes of a game, 2 minutes you've got it, and then you need to get past the press and stuff like that. But I think because there is a little bit more quality and there is a bit more kind of a desire to kind of have a go, if you like, I think teams are kind of creating a bit more problems for City in general. And I think that's a good thing. But I think, for the other teams as well who are hoping kind of Liverpool slip up, I think, if you want to be kind of negative from a Liverpool point of view or positive from the other point of view, there's a few games there coming up that people can say, well, you never know, they might do this because I've seen this. So I think it's tough for everyone. And I think if Liverpool can do something similar to what they did last season in terms of points, I think it's a bigger achievement this year because I do think the league's stronger.
You catering or not catering?
Oh, I probably would actually, because I think there's enough.
We all need a boost.
I think I know. Naby. I think there's enough of a gap there for him to to have had a decent rest. I think if it was maybe Wednesday, Saturday, you might be thinking about a Chamberlain option or whatever he wants to go to. I think with it being the extra day, albeit the early kick-off, I think he'll go for it. And I think they'll want to go to Qatar on a bit of a high, won't they? I imagine he'll rotate a little bit in that semi-final, but and I think there will be some rotation as well. But I think they'll want to go on a bit of a high, and they'll want to go, feeling like the league's in the best possible position it can be. They're only missing one game, but just psychologically, I think so. I'm expecting a really strong team from Liverpool, and hopefully a strong performance alongside it.
Prediction?
Yeah, I think we'll win. 3-0. 3-0.
Excellent stuff. Listen, get your Anfield app subscriptions in, and after Watford, if you download the app for free, you'll be able to get all of our post-match content. That's the video and the audio. You'll be able to get both the pink and the post-match pint if you've downloaded the app after the Watford game. You can get gift cards for subscriptions at this stage whenever you want. Really good Christmas presents, especially at short notice. Bear that in mind. You can fall back on the Anfield app. John, what's your last day of selling merch?
Oh, I'll do Christmas Eve, mate. No, Friday the 19th of December, if you're in the UK, if you want a t-shirt, is the last day we'll send anything out. But in terms of the gift cards, we will sort of go all the way up. It means we can't send you one of those nice cards out in the post. We've got these cool Christmas cards. But we can sort of send you over the details, and I will do that. I've done them Christmas Day morning, to be honest with you. I mean, I might,
I'm a bit different these days.
I know, I've got the little fella, he won't be giving me a minute.
No.
Yeah,
he must be very excited about Christmas.
I think so, yeah. He likes the lights, Ted. He likes lights a lot, so Christmas is been all his Christmases at once.
It's like this is his first Christmas.
I know.
He got absolutely
stuck in. It could be Christmas every day.
Well, which of us doesn't? It's our work night out tonight at the Anfield wrap. I have got the glittery jumper on. Have a little look at that there, ladies and gentlemen. It's underneath, and I've got a lovely pair of red shoes as well. I tried to cut loose. I've decided I'm going to do the business, and we've got to enjoy it. We've got to enjoy what we can at the moment. We've got to enjoy the Reds tomorrow. Obviously, we want you to keep enjoying us, and as I said at the start, don't think we're taking any backward steps in terms of what we do and the way in which we go about it. We won't do that. The city of Liverpool shouldn't do that. We shouldn't close the doors. We shouldn't close the doors to the rest of Britain. We should instead say our values should be your values, and let us show them. It's time for Liverpool to be open. It's time for Liverpool to be progressive. Don't give me Scouse, not English. We're fucked. We've got them whether we like it or not, so we've got to get out there and get in amongst the English and say, listen, our way's the best way. John Gibbons, Neil Atkinson, it's the Anfield wrap.